welcome to Talking Scotch with me, Pierre. Thanks for joining me again. I'm sure one of the things that we all recognize these days is that the world has shrunk. I suppose with international travel becoming so much easier, the internet bringing strange and weird and wonderful places right into our own home, has affected the way we drink Scotch whisky as well. There's no doubt about that. And I believe people's journey through drinking whisky, trying different whiskies, has been speeded up dramatically as a result of this. When I speak about Islay malts, traditionally one thinks about whiskies that are drunk in the middle of winter, perhaps after a lovely meal, pipes and slippers in front of a fire, lovely smoky, strong peaty whiskies. But believe me, today we're going to be talking about a whiskey which has been described by its owners as alluringly left field, enticingly off kilter, and not for everyone. Today we're going to be talking about this fantastic product, Smokehead Islay single malt Scotch whisky. Now, firstly, when you look at the canister, and if you can see it from here, you'll notice a skull on the tin, on the lid as well. I mean, this takes us to a totally different area. This is nowhere near traditional Scotch whisky drinking. And once you sample the product, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I purposely poured some of the whisky out of the bottle because I'm not sure whether you can see from there, but the bottle itself is not a flint or a clear glass bottle. It's got this beautiful smoky blue kind of color to it, which is really, really nice. The label is out there. All I can tell you is that it's appealing to a market who are new at drinking this kind of whiskey, who don't want to drink the old style Islay malts. This is a whiskey that can be drunk all the time, but it is very, very, very Islay. So the first thing I'm going to do is pour some whiskey into our tasting glass. Now, the interesting thing about Smokehead is that it is described as an Islay single malt, but it doesn't tell you from which distillery it comes from. I doubt whether you'd be able to get away with that these days, because I think the laws say you have to tell which distillery it came from. There are various views on who, and many people have views on who actually makes Smokehead and which distillery it comes from. I've got my own particular view. Having said that though, once I've poured some into a glass and looking at the color, and I'm sure caramel can play an easy role here, but it certainly doesn't fit the classic which I thought it would be coming from. So the first thing I'm going to do is nose some of this whiskey. Wow. Undoubtedly seaweed, salty, fiery, thick with wood smoke, rich and earthy, spice. But if you get past that initial peaty smokiness, and this is where I think generally speaking with Islay malts people make the mistake. They nose it once and either say, well, that's for me, or it's definitely not for me. If you go back to it, as we talk about all the time when it comes to nosing Scotch whisky, back and back, you get past this big, fiery, peaty flavors and aromas, and you smell the sweetness. There's citrus, there's spices, and ginger. This is superb. I'm going to put a little bit of water in it just to reduce the alcohol strength, to release the serpent, and nose it again. Wow, this is really something special. Now the taste. Oh, I can feel it attacking my taste buds. An explosion of peppery peat, heat. But then the honey sweetness starts coming to you, the spiciness. Absolutely delicious on the palate. Oh, and that finish is so long, it really comes back. It comes back. Exotic spices I can taste, citrus, peat. This is a single malt that is going to grab the attention of these new people, the newcomers into Islay malts. This is an exceptional whiskey. It's intense, it's sweet, it's obviously peaty, spicy, so delicious. And I think for a single malt as well, a little dash of whatever you want to mix it with wouldn't do it any harm. So that's the Smokehead from Ian Macleod Distillers, an absolute superb Islay single malt. Fantastic. Thanks for watching, and as we say in Scotland, Slangy bar.